Hey everybody, this is Kat of Kat for Art, catforart.com, and I am going to go live here for a minute or two, probably 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, who knows. Let me move that logo out of my face. There we go. So again, I'm Kat of catforart.com, and it has been a minute since I've been out here live. Someone reached out to me and said, hey, where's your face? What have you been up to? Why haven't I seen you? Obviously, you're not practicing your mindfulness, so I decided I needed to get out here and practice a little mindfulness. And part of my mindfulness practice is my watercolors and my watercolor drawings, some of my doodles. I like to doodle wherever I am. I actually was planning a trip, so I had a bag of art supplies set aside with a whole bunch of things in it, and that trip has been waylaid for a minute. So I broke out the markers and paintbrushes and things like that last night and decided to play with them anyway. And found a little inspiration. I think I posted a reel of some of that today. But anyway, it was that reel that somebody reached out for. So someone reached out because the little girls and that type of thing in my drawings and the little simplicity of the watercolors and the simplicity of the doodles and the drawings, and asked if I would come forward with that. So I said yes. And I'm trying to see if that person is around, and I can't see them here in my comments. So I'm going to assume they are, since they asked for this indirectly. And I'm going to shift. And while I shift my camera, what I want to share is that I have discovered that I can't just paint whatever I want, whenever I want. So let's take these girls, for instance. You can go to my website, catforart.com, and these lovelies are on my website. And funny, like recently some people said, oh, Katie, you must be happy. I see these ballerinas, and these ballerinas represent happy. You must be in this space. Well, they were also making reference to the last few years, and because I've been in a transition space. Well, ironically, these pieces were painted, I want to say 2016, 2017, maybe 2018 time frame. Believe that or not, when I first started. And the reason I brought them out is because they're art journal pages. They originally started in art journals, and then I get a little better at it. So I brought them to a canvas board, and I used the same process that I used in my art journal pages to bring them to life. And I share that because if you saw my reel today, woohoo, this little girl book is maybe 3 inches about. And they're really simple. And the idea of it is that it's an art journal page. Art journals, and just a doodle. It just captures my thought, captures a moment. And what I do is I grow these pieces up. So I will put them in a journal or on a scratch piece of paper like we're going to do today. And over time, I get better at that drawing. And over time, then I can grow them up, is the way I like to look at it, to a larger scale, to something that I may gift to somebody. And if I'm able to gift it to somebody, as far as I'm concerned, that's also selling it as well. So they just grow up for me. But their first purpose is that they serve me here in a mindful capacity. So what I've prepped is 2 5x7s, and this is taped to glass, and it's tempered glass. They're actually chopping boards. And then I have a 6x9. They're economical pieces of paper, economical solutions. The paper comes pre-cut. So in the past, I've done some crazy water journaling, color art journaling, where I've just put random marks and color on pages. These are actually from the last event a million years ago that I did. And these two are from previous watercolor classes, where you just put color and marks on a page. And we're going to do that. And then once I have color established on a page, I come in and doodle something on these. So that's been the process that I've demonstrated live before. And today I'm going to do that process, and I'm going to demonstrate this process. And with this process, what came first, the chicken or the egg? And it was the drawing that came first, and then the color. Whereas in my previous demonstrations, the color came first. So today I'm just going to take us through both. So I have 2 pages, or 2 pages here, 5x7, and then the 6x9. And I'm going to start with this. It really doesn't matter what colors you have out. I just brought out colors that are my favorite. They're literally colors that I work with regularly. They're my bedtime colors. Because I do paint in bed, believe it or not, kind of bad that way. Somebody asked about crackers in bed. Yep, it's crackers and paint in my bed. But for this, what I just want to do is I want to pick any brush, and I happen to have, and it doesn't matter. So you can use an old brush, you can use an acrylic brush, you can use a watercolor brush, you can use your fingers. It really doesn't matter. And to be as silly about that, I'm going to wet my hands, or wet this, the spray bottle, and I'll grab some water on my hands because I'm a little silly that way, right? And pink is one of my favorites. And the reason pink is my favorite is not because I'm a girly girl, because I'm really pretty much a tomboy. So my splashing this paint on here really just means you don't need a brush, right? That's what I'm trying to show. Is the idea of needing a required tool, something. Don't let anything limit your mind, limit your mindfulness, limit your process. You don't need anything. I am going to shift and grab a brush just for the sake of making something. This is one of my favorites. It can be used as a knife edge, a flat edge, or a point. I'm going to continue with that pink. I just grabbed some more of it, and I want to own some of these spaces, right? And I'm just going to like move my brush around and create the idea of a flower, and then pull down and push that brush around a little bit and pull down. And I show this because people, you know, if you are a watercolor expert, if you are an artist and you are full of all kinds of education and experience, then this just seems like rudimentary. You know, child's play. Well, I like child's play. It's when I'm in my child's play that I'm most free. Nicole is in the house. There she is. Yay. So I like to play my child's play. If I'm not in child's play, then I am not in my art mind. When I'm not in child's play, then I am in judgment of myself, and I am allowing the world to tell me what to do. And although I like to stay between some of the lines, I really don't like to be told what to do. And here's some splashing some orange in with this pink, and it's a yellow orange. I like it. It's because when they come together with this pink, it makes this brilliant brightness, but it also has a really cool earthy tone, right? I'm going to bring my fingers back into the party, smush some of that color around back there, just brighten up the background. And I don't have a plan for this space. What I'm really just trying to do is to exaggerate that just play, right? Get in and pick a couple colors, play with the colors, and see how they come together. I mean, that's the whole thing in color, actually, is how do we come together in color. I'm going to grab some white, some titanium white that's in here. And when I bring this white into that's opera pink, and I want to believe that's an Aussie yellow, red, gold. I bring this white in here, it just really gets kind of sexy. And what I like about this color is that it's a fabulous skin tone. So whenever I'm playing with my colors, I often, as we know, paint ballerinas and girls, and I try and represent diversity in my colors. These 3 colors just right here have 3 different palettes just by how the color decided to come together on the page. The same 3 colors, that yellow, that pink, that white, came together and made a muted brown, more of a softer pink, and then a bright, luscious pink that's more maybe representative of youth, however you decide, right? So two, let me grab some purple. And you're like, why are you playing with these colors? Why are you not painting something specific? Part of the questions I'm often asked is, how do you come up with your skin tones? So right now I'm showing that. So one, I think flowers are representative of girls and women and all kinds of other things. But when I bring that color together as a flower or as a girl, then it's very powerful to me, and how the color can be representative of so much that's going on in life. So there's a little purple that came to the party, right? So that orange or the pink, the Aussie yellow, grab some of that yellow, makes a luscious brown tone. Grab some more white over here. And I just love it for what the colors do when they come together. Okay. So I'm going to run some of this paint down. The purpose of this is not for me to really create anything. The purpose of it partly was to inspire somebody that reached out to me to pick up some paper, tape some paper to a palette. I use glass because it dries. It helps the paper to dry equally. It's a non-porous surface. So I asked her to tape some papers and pull some paint. And that person, it motivated her to get busy with her art. She asked me about drawing. So let's see. On this page, I want to create. Let's see. I like love. So there's a heart. Let's see what I can turn a heart butt into. I think if I come down here, I can make an elephant out of it. Their feet kind of are these wide, round things that come up. You see that? I probably need to grab a pen. They have a head that comes up here, and then some ears. I'm not erasing. Normally I won't use a pencil because I will erase, but I'm not going to erase. What I'm going to do is grab my trusted favorite pen to own some of that line. Now again, this is not to make a masterpiece. This is just me having fun with somebody with my own space, taking 5 minutes of my time to slow down and to create something, or to try and create something. I mean, you are creating. You're putting marks on a page. You are creating something. There's a little tail back here. Here, let's make another one. The result of what you're creating may not be the result that you're striving for, but then you just practice and do it again. That's kind of just a lesson in life. So again, I made a heart S shape back here. No pun intended on a heart ooh-hiney back here. There's a little tail. There's an ear. There's the top of the head. There's another ear. And because elephants make all kinds of dustiness when they're walking, we're going to put some scribble under there. Plus, they cast a huge shadow. Right, and then that gives purpose behind all that mess. I think I want some blue in here, so I'm going to grab a mop brush and a little blue and some white, and come over, just dust some of this color in here, and bring it down a little bit. Most of the color is going to be at the top. A little bit of color down below. Less is more. And I'm going fast, so I'm not thinking about it. because I'm not thinking about it. There's more blue. I'm not in judgment of myself or of anyone else. And I'm just going to let the water and the color play together and do their thing. Okay, for the sake of conversation, I'm going to call the elephant Finish. And I'm going to leave the elephant with the comment of get in the middle of the herd. All right, elephants are wonderful about taking care of their own. And little baby over here, how cute. Okay, so there's that mess. How cute is that? And because I believe in, let's see, I just believe in owning your mark, so I'm going to sign it. And I'm going to come to this page. So I said what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to put marks on here first, then some color. So for the same process, I'm going to pull these elephants. And by the way, when I'm drawing and doodling, I do put in my thoughts and my writing and all this. This one is called Butterfly Kisses. Isn't that sweet? Sweet, sweet. So we're going to do the elephant again. And what I like to share is how to scale something. So this drawing, this page is in three sections. So even though it's square, you can do the same thing with any size page. Just distribute your page into three approximate equal sections, approximately, right? And then here, the legs come down just below. That's a heart, basically. That's a little oblong egg or circle right here. Another one. Put a line in here. They have very long legs. They're little elephants. So here at the top, we're going to have a point to their head a little bit. Even though it's a circular shape, it does have kind of a point to it. So kind of create that point. And then from the base of the ear, just make angle up towards this left corner, up towards this right corner, and then come down. Right? It doesn't have to be perfect. If your ears are too big, if you think that's too big, you can reduce the size. I'll let you erase. And then they do have another leg up here that shows, so I'm going to create another line here. So there's the underbelly that would be here, and this back leg. Let me show that with a pen. Normally I would not come in with my pen right away. This different shape to the base of their foot helps to create the illusion that they're in stride, in motion. All right. And then up here, I'm going to create some dark line because there is the back that's there. So we have the boohiney, that I'll call it the boohiney, and there's his tail. But there is some back line that you would potentially see. So I did create some dark line there. I'm going to bring this line down with my lovely little pen. Lovely little pen. On the headline. Come up here. The reason I like this fine, the pen that I have, it's a gel pen, but it's really about the fine point of it. So even if I make a mistake with my scribble lines, because my hands are kind of old and bad, I can come back in and add additional line. if I had a really wide tip point to my pen, I would not be able to do that as easily. I don't know if Miss Nicole is out there, if she can hear me. If you can, I hope so. I haven't seen any comments that you can't. I keep looking up. So anyway, there's that little guy, right? Let's get rid of these marks back here. And we want a buddy. So back to that heart shape. So there's the heart, see? And then they have long legs, so put one straight line down and bring the base together. You will see another leg over here. There is the top of the head that's right there. Let's create some curve to give the idea of an ear. The brain fills in what it thinks it's seeing. And there you have it. If that line, that heart is too defined, just square it off. The heart is just a way for me to identify a shape that as I'm drawing, I look for shape that's familiar to me, so I can try and replicate the shape in whatever it is I'm drawing, and it helps me to create it more realistically. So we need some dark shadow underneath here. Beautiful. So with that, I'm going to erase these lines. You normally don't see me with an eraser in my hands, giving you that privilege. It does happen. So up here, I want some of that blue again. So let me grab some water, and I have like a little mop brush that's going on. This paper is dry. So what that means is when I bring in water and color on here on a dry piece of paper, the paper is going to suck the water in and the color is going to stay right there. If I don't want that to happen, then I would come in with a clean brush with water in the bristles and then put the water wherever on the paper I choose, right? And then when I come in with color and I drop the color in to the water, it displaces, it follows the path of the water. The water takes it on its lovely journey, right? So that was two ways. I come in with clean water, put clean water on the page, drop color into the water will displace and go where it would like. Or I can have color on my brush, as is right here, and and I can just put it on the page. And when I do this, it sits wherever I move the brush to. The color will pretty much stay there, and I can't really remove the color from it. Here, I can take a lot of that color off because the color was setting in the water. It hadn't completely bound to the paper particles. So sometimes that is a safe way to do things, sometimes. Okay, there's some color. Put some blue in there. I'm going to let that be for a minute. While that's happening, so what's good to note is wherever that water is, it's expanding in the paper. So I could walk away from this and I'll come back, and this color will diffuse. It'll displace across the paper. It'll follow wherever that water is, and it'll lessen the pigment because it'll be spread out over the paper. So I may choose to come in and add more color here in a bit, but for now, I'm going to let that just sit there. And while we're playing with the elephant and letting it do its thing, I think I want to put this little girl together for my buddy that's out there that asked for this. And I see a comment from her. She's like, just trying to keep up. Well, cool. This is recorded, right? So you can't sit and take in the information and not participate necessarily as far as painting and drawing in real time. Don't let my process impede your learning. Just absorb it, watch it, take it in. Don't force yourself to keep up with me. You're always welcome to come back and look at it. I will keep this one up for a minute. So what I like to show is with this little girl, although she is basically from the top of the page to the bottom of the page, I don't want to make her that tall. So I'm going to create a line here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put this page in 3 sections. So there's 1 section, there's 2 sections. And with her, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep her within these 2 lines. I'm going to keep her pretty much in the middle. So she is 1 section, 2 section, 3 sections, 4. You see that? So there's 1 square, 2 squares, 3 squares, 4 sections to my baby girl here. So to replicate that, I'm going to come in and do 1 little circle, 2 little circles, 3 and 4. I hope that makes sense. And then she's looking in this direction. So I want to kind of put a mark here. So her face is facing this corner. And I will put a little oval and a little oval. There's her little head butts. And where we have a neck connected, since her head, she's looking up, you wouldn't see a lot of her neck. So I'm just automatically going to create some squared line here. It's not a 45, it's a little more than a 45-degree angle. I'm calling that. And from it, she has a shoulder that comes off that circle. And all I'm doing is I'm showing that with a line straight across. And here, she has some arms. And here would be where her little dress is. And I'm going to make this scribble all make sense here in a second. And down underneath this is where her little legs would be. So to just represent those legs, I'm going to come down with a straight line to start. I'll add some curve. She's younger, so I'm going to give her a little chunkiness. And I like having her on her tiptoes. So back to that oval back here. You can leave that. I won't even go into what you can do with that line. Yay. I do have a real eraser. So I'm going to erase some of my line because it's pretty drastic in here. And over her shoulder line, we have collarbones and our shoulder blades and all that. And I like to, that's how I start, is I see her neck and then I like to accentuate the shoulder line. And I'm doing that with those lines. I put this flat line here as a marker that she has shoulders. So I'm taking that shoulder line up over that marker. She has a little waist down here, so I'm going to put in some line, heavy line, to show that waist. I'm thinking she has a tank top. And then I'm thinking this little dress down here is all kinds of sass, so I'm going to put some scribble in there. Maybe her head's a little large. So mind you, when I'm doing this for my own mindfulness process, I'm not babbling like I am now. So the process is very therapeutic for me. I really like to enjoy the process. I get my little scribble on, is what I call it. I talk to myself at the same time. These little girls just kind of show up for me. And we have fun in my head. So some of the line I like. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to grab what I call grab with my ink. The line that I like, I'm going to keep and own with this ink pen. I like the backside of these little earbuds. Where the backside is, they're going to be darker because that's shadowed there. It really doesn't take much line. And I'm doing a crosshatch. A crosshatch, it's like a basket. I'm using a crosshatch sketch line to fill in the space right here. And even underneath this neck area, put a light mark at the tops of these little buns just to own the process or own the space, give the illusion of the buns. I put some extra marks in here at the back because her hair is pulled up, so to give the idea of that hair line. I started making these scribble marks where I'm going like this a long time ago as a mistake. Actually, I was frustrated thinking I couldn't draw and that I was scribbling to just let go of my frustration. And in that scribble, it became a very good attribute and trademark. I like my scribble. The scribble helps me create the idea of maybe when I was little, my little girls had lace underneath their dresses, so it kind of gives me that idea. I'm using an eraser to get rid of all my extra ugly line. And there she stands. I'm going to put some scribble in here because this scribble, she has shadow. Somehow she got here, so there's some sort of path. I like to represent that with some sort of mark and flower. With this one, it was a dragonfly. I'm going to show you. Dragonflies and butterflies are my thing. So when you make a dragonfly, I like to think of their head space as a square, and they have kind of eyes underneath it, and they're ferocious. They are great hunters. So underneath, their mouth is open. And depending upon the dragonfly, they have some sort of wings out here. And back to scribble, you can create the idea of a lot of things with just a few marks. Your brain will fill in the marks. And then this whole section, I won't describe what this section is, but I just create little squared oblong marks holding it together. And although they're normally really rigid and straight when they're in flight, I like to put some curvature to them because I'm silly. And then they have these really cool legs that come out here. And they're on point target. So I like to bring them in. First started drawing dragonflies a million years ago with my girlfriend Elisa and the whole concept of transition. So here we're going to put a dragonfly. When you're drawing really small, you really don't have to worry about all the detail. Again, the brain fills in what what it wants to see. So for her, I am going to call her done. As far as the drawing, normally I would put the color, I would have done her in pencil, and then I would have come in with the watercolor, let the watercolor dry, and then put the ink on. But here, I'm giving you the drawing and the ink first. I have, I think this is number 4, number 8 round. And for her, I'm going to come in with purple first. And where this dark line is the most dark, I'm noting that darkness with purple. At her waistline, we're going to let that purple bleed up. Little paint goes a long way with watercolor. I'm just dabbing in purple here underneath. And I like to scribble, so with the point of that brush, I'm just wiggling around. She would have motion going on, so I'm just creating a little line motion. That's going to give the idea of texture. In the material, I rinse the brush. While that's drying, I'm going to come over here with that same brush, and here I'm going to drop in some color. I'm going to round off and give some weight to this backside. So again, I'm putting water here. I'm going to use that same color, and I'm going to drop in some purple and let that purple play. I can force the process, and I can pull some of that color up and around if I want. And what else do I want to do with this guy? I want to create another line in here. Maybe there's the top of that ear. Sometimes they're flopping around a bit. This pen does move in water. The ink does. That's one of the reasons I like it. Not all pens are the same. Some are not permanent. This will move some in water and then dries permanent. Back to that brush. And for this guy over here, I'm going to put in a little purple too. Not too much. I want to keep this less is more on this one because it's less color will help to represent youth. Just a little color. Up here at the top, I want to put some pink. So I grab some water, grab some pink, and I'm going to own that curve up here and bring some of that curve down, pull it over, across the back and down. And give a bullseye, not to have any kind of fun there, but there we go. I'm putting some moisture in both ears. Over here, I'm going to drop in some color. Here I have a little blue. I'm going to drop in a little bit. And I'm going to grab some white because the elephant is kind of a grayish color. That white and that blue helps represent that gray. And I'm just touching and tapping a little bit. Over here, grab some of the yellow. I want some of that yellow up here at the top. And I'm going to throw some back here, some water, and make a real splash mess. See how I'm cornering up? Doing that on purpose because I want to drop some color in here. And when I drop that color in, it's going to follow that water and give me an idea of dirt maybe, or they're causing dust in their path. And because dust can go airborne, let's put some of that color up here as well. Be careful because that blue is kind of wet and it can make mud and just go all ugly. So I'm being careful. Over here to the little girl, I grabbed some pink and some water. And I'm going to start where I dropped the purple in first. I'm going to put the pink on top of that. That'll displace there and it will be the darkest base. I'm going to let that set. I talked about color a bit, so I'm going to start with some pink and some yellow. And I do have a pyrrol red over here, so I grabbed some of that pyrrol red. So that is my opera pink, the pyrrol red, and I want to say that is an Aussie red gold that's right here, and it makes this luscious kind of Indian red color. I'm going to put some white there and come down the legs a little bit. You don't want to fill in the entire line, just a little bit. And from this color, I can layer other color on with that and just shift her dramatically, and I'm not going to right now. I am coming back on with some more white. I just want to mute some of that tan. She probably needs a little color up here on her face, just a little bit. So I'm touching up there just a little. And these little feet of hers, I have a purple that's a different shade of purple. It is a Luna purple. The same color, I'm going to come in and touch a little bit on her little buns. And then I'll grab some of this white. And I changed, I'm going to come in now with some pink down here, and maybe these are ballerina slippers. We'll let people decide what they want them to be. Drop some more of this purple or the pink in. So I wait until the water dries a little bit. The paper, of course, is not completely dry, but it's dried enough that I can tell I'm okay to come in with another round, another layer to brighten it up, to give it a little more saturation. And because I like continuity. I'm going to think that her feet and those little shoes matter. Where she is planted, as far as I'm concerned, she's present in her day. So that's what that means to me. I'm starting at her feet, and it comes around. And it just captures where she is at the given moment for me. And then I believe she's in a conversation right there with that little booger, the little flying critter that's up there. We're going to call it a dragonfly for the sake of something. I normally do butterflies, but I do a lot of dragonflies as well. And I'm muting this brown a little bit with some of this white down here as well. And although this is watercolor, I am also painting very similar to how I would paint with acrylic. Touching up here, I know that this blue is very wet, but I still want to grab some of this white because I want to be done for hi Deb, I see you. I love it. Hi. Hi, love. Hi. I see you in there. I want to grab some white and put some of this white on top of this and mute that a bit. And come in here and mute, mute, mute. Give it a little drama. So we can call that like distant hills in the forefront, or maybe it's just clouds in the sky, however you want to call that. I can't tell what the angle that I'm at right now. But that's my little girl. So we did this little girl based off of this little drawing. And we did the elephants based off of this drawing. And that is the mindfulness lesson for the day. 5 minutes. So what I mean by 5 minutes is this book. I have a station of materials that I have set somewhere. Right now it's by my nightstand. And I can come in and do a quick sketch. Not sure where this is going. This is really how I actually go through the process. Try and see where they're at. And I'm not liking that one. And so I am erasing this. Normally I don't erase. But I go through and I'll draw something really quick. And I can walk away from it. Later on, I can come back in and I can add color to it, which is what is happening with this one. So I have this sketch. I have this sketch in here. I came in and I added some color, and I need to finalize some of the marks on here. But at 5 minutes, so I can have 5 minutes and just come in and add something and take a moment for myself, because the process or my art supplies, my station is already set up. And because I value the time, I choose to do it. But okay, that is what I have for today. Thanks for the motivation, Missy, that was out there that motivates me to do some of the things that I do. I appreciate you. I needed to take a mindful moment. Very much so. I'm going to switch the camera. And hi Deb. Hi Deb, hi Deb. Whew. Deb, thanks for showing up. I appreciate you. I know I did a last minute little notice that's out there. I appreciate you showing up. And I want to say that these drawings, like I shared earlier in the feed, let me grab them. Practicing little tiny drawings like that allow me to grow them up and become what I call ballerinas like this, and then become ballerinas or other artworks on a large scale. You know, you have to start somewhere. I choose to start on little tiny pieces of paper and in art journal books, and I call it mindfulness, and Watercolor Doodle mindfulness. Helps me to slow down, helps me to be present, helps me to value my time for at least 5 minutes at a shot. Love and hugs to you. I will try and do this another day this week. Love and hugs.